shortly.
Yeah, that was loud though. The effects like, yeah, probably get that down as much as possible. Well, the time site hasn't done this thing. I think we can get you had a text, they've had a business chat with me. Yeah. And I had a chat with Brett last night. Yeah. So, I feel like it would be probably similar to
We're building an incredible team who is serving our community, and vice versa, our community feel like they can come home to through us. Whether it's aspiring to build something greater, potentially a development, or maybe it's their first home. It's about putting that puzzle together, their wants, their needs, and then our experience and making it all fit. They've got a family which wants the best for them. Let us guide you home.
Find your cushy place in the Brooks Ghost 15.
Good morning and welcome to the 2023 McGrath Launceston Running Festival. What an amazing day we've got. The weather has behaved and we've got fantastic conditions today for our two main races, which we'll be featuring on our broadcast this morning. Kicking off at 8:05 Australian Eastern Standard Time with the Think Big Half Marathon. Once again, amazing fields assembled. Really looking forward to seeing whether Ellie Pashley can push that course record set last year by, of course, Sinead Diver, the Australian marathon record holder. The men's is a deep field. We've got a pace on afterwards. Then we've got 2.5 hours until we start the Launceston 10, the traditional event here in Lonnie. We'll start here on Doyne Street and finish here. They'll run out and back on the East Derwent Highway. Amazing fields. That course record set last year by Jess Stenson, 31:49. Could it be beaten? Well, we've got two girls who are named in the Australian team this week for the marathon at the World Championships in Lisa Waitman and Izzy Bat-Doyle. They'll have to contend with Leanne Pompiani, second here last year, winner of the Burnie 10 and second at the Think Big Run the Bridge in February. It's going to be an amazing race in that one. And Brett Robinson, he's got to take on James Hansen, the local man, defending champions in the half and the 10, face-to-face off the 10K. It's all ready to go, and we'll throw to Sean and Pat in the commentary team.
Well, a very good morning. A little bit chilly morning here, and welcome to the 2023 McGrath Launceston Running Festival. Joined by my co-host, Shawnee Tisdale. Shawnee, how are you, mate?
Really good, thanks. Woke up this morning and it's absolutely perfect conditions out here today. So there's going to be some fast running, and having spoken to some of the elite athletes, they're having a crack at some course records today, so it should be good.
Yeah, absolutely well said. Always a little bit of excitement before the start of the race. I'm sure everyone's raring to go though. It is pretty chilly outside. We're nice and tucked in here in the Duff TV vent. We've got the heater on, so apologies to everyone outside that's a little bit cold. Run us through the list, mate. Men's, women's. Let's do a prediction right now.
All right. Well, I guess if we go in PB order, we've got Joel Tobin White with 62.03, Ed Goddard, Riley Cox and Andy Buchanan.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, unfortunately, laid out with Benny Saint, unable to make. I think he's injured at the moment. And then Reese Edwards.
Yeah.
Timmy Vincent, he's had it's his second appearance. He's got a sub-29 10K PB as well. So I think those four are probably the main ones to watch for today in the men's.
And if we go and we flick over to the women's, the absolute class of the field, I guess, is Ellie Pashley. Her 19th place at World Cross cements her there. She's 9th all-time in the marathon, 8th all-time in the half marathon. And I know that she's looking to take down good friend Sinead Diver's course record from last year.
Yeah, that's right. I think word is that both race records are potentially under threat or looking to push the pace. Of course, Brett Robinson, 61.38 back in 2020. It was a slightly different course. And then with Sinead Diver, 71.04 just last year. So race records pretty quick. Conditions. Do we catch Nicky Earl? Have we got a weather update? Wind-wise?
He wasn't here yesterday, but I think Joel said that was a good thing because he cursed them last year with the weather. So they were quite excited that Nick wasn't here.
No, it's always good. I actually ran into him at the supermarket when I was running late. I was meant to make the dinner, and I was coming back into town, and I saw him. They were all stocking up, getting their food and hydrating, and yeah, it's just a wonderful day. Four big events. And a massive shout out to McGrath Real Estate, headed up by Josh Hart as the principal in Launceston. They've signed a partnership to continue with this festival. So good to have sponsors, good to have athletes, good to have you here, mate.
Yeah, and we're really looking forward to this. As you can see down at the top end of the camera shot, and you see Richard there, but the elite athletes starting to assemble. And I guess if we're talking about paces, they are looking at 2:55 per kilometre, and Alistair's going to be doing that pacing job. Got the late call up and he's flown in late last night, so we'll see how far he can go.
So for anyone at home, 2:55s per kilometre is 70 seconds around a 400 metre track. Doing that for 21.1 Ks, Shawnee, I'd much rather be in here.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what that would work out to be your park run, and we're talking about the 14:30 mark. So for those people who go to park run regularly, think about where you'd be after 14 minutes 30, and that's the pace they're going.
Well, I think that's actually just a little bit over my 5K PB, but to do that 4 times, boy.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. The women, they've got a pacer as well. So Phil McConnon from Hobart, he's come up to pace them. You can see Tim on screen now. He's ready to go. I think that 63.31 is in some serious trouble today.
So if you had to choose, Ed or Joel Tobin White, who's the favourite?
Oh, we'll just go across to Richard here while he interviews Ryan Gregson.
Don't know what to expect, but I've put the work in, so I'm ready.
Excellent. Good luck to you. Enjoy. Local legend, former winner, Millie Clark. Thumbs up.
Big thumbs up. I made it to the start line this year, Welshie.
Well done. Good luck to you. Enjoy it out there. Who else we got? Big man who just ran, Andy Buchanan. Just ran a big 2:10 marathon. How have you pulled up from that? How are you feeling now?
Yeah, we'll see how we feel. Probably 15k in, so feel all right now, but we'll see.
Estimated pace, 2:55 k's. You going to go with it?
No, I don't think so.
Bit quick. Oh, bit quick. Do you hear that? Good luck to you. Good luck, everybody. South Australian record holder Riley Cox. You set that on this course 2 years ago. Can you go faster today?
Yeah, see what happens, see what the pace is like, and there'll be a good pack of guys up the front, so hopefully feeling good.
Good luck to you as well. And Ed Goddard, final word from you, mate.
Have fun, everyone. It's going to be a good day.
Good luck to you. It's going to be a good day, says Ed. All right, 1 minute, folks. Here's our pacemaker. How far can you go?
Whole thing. What are you talking about?
Oh, he's going to win it. Al Christie flying in. Fantastic. Okay, we are ready. We're inside a minute, Monique. Are you ready, Josh?
All right, so a few quick words there from Richard with the elite athletes, and as he interviewed there quickly, Ryan Gregson, obviously a 2-time Olympian and 5 times world champs representative, making his debut here, and he's not going with the pace. He's looking at about 64 minutes for his debut.
Yeah, no, obviously a great course to do a debut on, pretty flat. Ryan's obviously one of Australia's best produced middle distance athletes, so to see him step up into that longer stuff, I'm sure he's excited, and really interesting to see if he can get around that low 64 minute mark. Riley Cox, Andy Buchanan, 2:10, geez, good form, just depending on how he's recovered from that. But yeah, I think Eddie Goddard's my pick. I think he takes the race on, he's energetic, and as we see, they're away.
Yeah, he's definitely energetic. He had a bit to say last night, but he's looking for that 2:55 per kilometre, and it'll be interesting to see how Al goes with that. Obviously flew in late last night, missed the dinner. That's how late he was.
Jeez.
So we'll see how he goes, but Ed is wanting someone just to take the pace so he doesn't have to do the front running to start off with.
No, exactly, and of course this race, men's and women's off together. They'll make their way towards Launceston to the CBD before turning right and going out towards Riverside. Beautiful flat course. Conditions, it looks good, and as Millie said, it was good that she turned up this year. So it does help when you turn up to a running race to be able to participate in it, doesn't it, Shawnee?
Yeah, look, I've never found a winner that has not turned up, so we'll see here. But the men's field just getting away nice and quickly, and it looks to me like Alistair's setting that pace, and Ed was going to go with it. He seemed to be the only one. I know Joel likes to race though, so I'd imagine he will tuck in. Riley has got the speed there to go with it as well, and then Andy, we'll just see how he feels. As we said, that the 2 hours 10 for the marathon, which is ninth all time for Andy.
Incredible.
Which is amazing.
Jeez.
But he did run last week. He ran at St Anne's in the XCR cross country. He finished 4th, so I think he was behind Brett there and Andre Waring. So yeah, he's still in good form.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how they pull up from last week's race. Of course, coming up later, we've got the 10K as well. We've got a 5K happening, and then we've got the Live Eat 1 mile. So 4 races, 1 action-packed morning here at the Launceston McGrath Running Festival. Well, the McGrath Launceston Running Festival. Don't tell Josh Hart I said that. He might get me sacked from the gig. But as they go away, you can see looking very comfortable at the moment. Everyone's just going to tuck in.
And it's our usual crew, the ones that we knew there. Tim Vincent looks like he's gone with the pace as well, so that would be a significant PB for Tim if he was able to keep this up. But you can see Ed tucked in behind Alistair there with Riley. Ryan, even though he said he wasn't going to go with the paces, we don't know what this pace is yet, but he is there with them as well.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to have to go with them to start off with, because there's a big gap to that second group. So he'll just sort of be in limbo. Might be going a little bit quicker than what he wants, but we'll soon find out.
And on screen, you've got Ellie Pashley and Tara Palm. So they were definitely the two that were touted to go with the pace, with Phil in front of them, setting the pace for them.
Yeah, no. Everyone looks pretty comfortable. Phil will be just checking that watch, making sure. 21K is a long way to go, so a lot can go wrong very quickly. So they'll just be trying to make sure they keep the pace going, stay relaxed, and make sure they make it back past Lindsay Street as they make their way out along the Tamar Highway.
Yeah, there is a significant long way to go, but for them, they would just be trying to relax, get comfortable. For the paces, they're trying to make sure they're hitting the right paces to get the runners into the best possible situation. We talked about the 61.38 from Brett, who's here. He'll be in the 10K later. I know that he spoke about last night that Jack's 10K record could be in strife, so that's his goal. And obviously, Ellie and Tara, they're looking at Sinead's 71.04, which is a fantastic run from last year in the conditions.
No, definitely. I mean, Australian distance at the moment, it's just insane. All the results we're seeing overseas at the moment, and then locally as well. Of course, we've got Jimmy Hansen coming up a little bit later in the 10K, defending champion. He'll have to go out pretty hard if he's going to go and try and go with Brett. So we've got that to look forward to coming up at 10:30.
And we hope we will see some of the Tasmania locals through the race. That we'll see some with the elites, and then hopefully the camera will see the first of each of the races, but we'll just wait and see how that plays out.
So probably, I think we've got about 1,800 runners making their way to today's festival. That's a huge result. Of course, we've got Monday off as well, mate. That's exciting. You got any plans?
No plans for Monday. It'll be Queen's birthday. I'm a Melbourne supporter, so I'll be watching the D's take on the Pies, King's birthday, I should say.
Yeah, that's right. It's the first time I've ever corrected anyone on British royalty, but we've got all that happening in here, mate. We've got a little trivia quiz coming up a little bit later. We'll get Welshie in here when he's free.
But they look like they're in stride, and it looks like Ali's by herself very, very early. So they are attacking that course record, and that's probably going to leave her with a lot of it by herself, you'd imagine. The men's field a little bit deeper in the elite area, so that will be a group of runners that will stick together for a fair while, and hopefully Al can do a good pacing job, maybe get him to 8-9 kilometres. I think he was looking at that because that gets him back to here, so he gets to finish.
No, that's it's a pretty. The course is so flat that obviously you want to get the momentum going. You need a few people around you. You don't want to get stuck in no man's land. And I think Ellie's going to work with obviously Phil, but there might be a couple of guys that she can sort of get around her, hopefully, to pull her through. Because long way to go on your own. Whereas we'll see the men's pack here. Everyone's quite relaxed. Ed's sitting in there. He always pushes the pace. He's got a bit of Steve Prefontaine about him.
He does. It's interesting to see he's not running with the phone in the hand today, so he obviously thinks there's a bit of a challenge. He's well documented that when he thinks he's going to do it quite comfortably, he takes the phone so he can listen to some music and relax a little bit, but obviously it's going to be a actual fair dinkum race today.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're allowed to even bring the phone. I know you'd probably be able to sneak it in, but it's a funny one, that, like pumping the tunes while you're actually running.
He's very alternative, Ed, so I think he does what he likes to do.
What's on the playlist? What has he got, do you know? I think
he does a lot of rock and roll.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he just enjoys running with music, but he doesn't use the headphones, he just uses the phone in the hand. So.
Yeah, no, beautiful. Good way to be. You can't lose your phone if it's in your hand. That should have been a little commercial break there. Sorry, Shawnee, I didn't give you the heads up on that one.
That's all good. We're fine. So you can see Ali Pashley here. So just getting in control as they make this turn and they head out towards Riverside. Obviously, it is a flat course. They're still unhappy about Welshie's hill that he's got right at the top end of the course on your way out of Invermay and out to Mowbray. But there's not much they can do about that. I've spoken to Richard about it, and that's the only place they can turn the course out at Riverside, so they can't take the hill out.
Yeah, no, and of course they want it to be exactly right. So this is official measured course. So all PB stand, which can certainly help towards making national teams, etc. So a little bit of a hill, but you get the nice little downhill on the way back. Yeah, it's not as bad as Hobart, mate. That little pinch at the start of Battery Point there, as you're coming back through to the finish line, that takes lives. That one does.
Rich has got a little bit of an MO with those kind of things, where he puts hills in places where there shouldn't be hills, but it is a fast course. They have run extremely quick here, and 61, 38 and 71 almost flat is incredibly quick for basically what is a domestic field.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. All three races really that Richard's a part of. Of course, Epic Events and Marketing. You look at Lonnie, obviously quite a flat course. Run the bridge, not quite as flat, but can still run pretty quick times. And then when you get calibre athletes like Jack Rayner, Stewie McSwain, etc. PBs and race records are always going to go so long as those big names come down.
Yeah, and obviously Jack not here today. He's over in Europe getting prepared for his next venture. And the only other one that's really noticeable, I suppose, is one who supports the events all the time, is Liam Adams, not here in Flagstaff training for the Gold Coast Marathon. So his attempt at getting that qualifier for the Olympics.
Yeah, no, geez, he does well as well. Full time, obviously. Sparky. He's always got a few words to say about sponsors and things like that, and he shows normally up in his fluorescent day-to-day top sort of thing, almost, isn't it? So
yeah, he's well noted for the tradie singlet, isn't he? So it's not a clean one either. He comes with it dirty, but here they are. And while we've got Ellie Patchett on screen, we might throw to her interview, which we did with her last night. All right, welcome, Ellie. Fresh off London Marathon 6 weeks ago. How are you feeling for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm feeling all right. I've been building back up into training the last month or so it's always a little bit unknown coming back from a marathon. But tomorrow will be a good test to go hard and see what my legs have got.
Yeah, good conditions tomorrow, good field. Your good friend Sinead's record, is that gone tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I was hoping to have a bit of a crack at the record, but I've just watched Sinead running on the video from last year, and I've seen all those hills and the wind that she had to deal with. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a tough course, and I mean any record of Sinead's is going to be bloody hard to beat. So I think I'll have to start out and see how I feel. But
yeah, and a pacer asking for 70 minutes.
I'm not sure exactly. I sort of thought maybe if I aim for sub 71, and again just feel it out over the first 5 or 10k, and see if I've got a sub 71 in me. So 70 something will be the goal roughly. But
and using Lonnie Running Festival as a springboard for the rest of the year, what are the plans for the back end of 2023 and into 2024?
So after this, I'm doing Gold Coast Half Marathon in 3 weeks, and then I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm looking to do a marathon later in the year, so maybe Valencia in December. But yeah, between July and December, we'll just be building up, trying to run as much mileage as I can and get as fit as I can for my next marathon.
Excellent. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great interview there. Oh, you go first, mate. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, we heard from Ellie there, and obviously she spoke about the 71, and then she spoke about her plans. And talking to her this morning, actually, at breakfast, she was mentioned that to get an elite start at Valencia, she needed to run under 2:25, which she doesn't. So she'll have a sub-elite start.
Jeez, that's incredible, isn't it? Just the times they're getting tougher and tougher. When you look at the Olympic times and the qualifications as well, geez, it's getting tougher and tougher to make a team, mate. Are we going to see you there, or?
You won't see me there, and hopefully we'll see Ellie at the Olympics, and obviously Sinead's got that spot locked up, and Lisa's got a spot locked up, we'd imagine, with the first all-time and second all-time, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see what exactly Ellie can do in that back end, and I think, having spoken to her, I think Jen's going to go to Valencia as well. Izzy will go to Valencia.
Yeah.
So I think they're all going to be lined up in that race as a spot for that third Olympic spot.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the depth at the moment. I couldn't pick a winner out of those 5 names just then on any given day.
And we've just flicked back to the men, and it looks like that same pack. Maybe Ryan just off the back there. So we've got the same pack of Tobin, White, Goddard, Cox, Buchanan and Vincent. And they look like the pace is going along reasonably well.
Yeah, you can always tell that the pace is, everyone's comfortable with it. Spread out, no single file at the moment. You can see everyone's pretty relaxed. 12 minutes in, a long way to go. Almost coming up towards about a fifth of the race done for these guys. So really the early stages, and they'll start to work each other out. And then I imagine Ed is probably going to be the one to make the move. And we'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah, it is a long way out the road up towards Morrowbrae, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do or when they make the move. Obviously, coming back towards town, we saw with Brett was strong that way, but when they make that turn, it's about 14 kilometres, so they've still got 6 kilometres, 7 kilometres to go once they make that turn back into town.
Yeah, it is a long way, I know. When I used to run the 10, you sort of look for McDonald's as almost, but even from there, you've still got, I think, about 1,500 metres, so a long way out, a long way back, but pristine conditions here at the McGrath Launceston Running Festival. If you guys are watching the live stream, give us your tips for the men's and women's, and the closest guess will get a pair of Brooks from Robbie Porter. I haven't asked him that yet, so it might be coming from me if he says no, but we're going to get the tips in there. Let's see who can pick the men's and women's closest to the time. We'll pick up a beautiful pair of Brooks. Of course, they've been a sponsor for all these Tassie races that Welshie puts on. We've got Live Eat here today. As you can see up on your screen there, Brooks, Optus, Mud Bar, Events Tasmania, The Examiner. So lots of support.
And obviously our big ones there, Think Big with all the signage. They do a fantastic job. Everything looks absolutely perfect. The fencing, everything, the signage done by Think Big. And we can't go past McGrath, can we?
No, that was bad of me to miss Think Big. I had the water bottle in the way. That's no excuse. But they also partner with, obviously, the Think Big Hobart Run the Bridge. So if anyone needs any design, we've actually had the car stick it up at work from these guys, so they're pretty quick. And, certainly got a little bit more creative side than I do, mate.
Yeah, definitely me as well. It's not my cup of tea, the creative side, but it looks wonderful there, the start, finish, shoot. And as we see, the 5K runners, they've finished, so their day's done. Nice and early. They're coming through, but the half marathoners and then obviously the 10K. I was talking to Izzy Bat-Doyle last night. She was excited about the late start.
Yes.
But yeah, the conditions may change, but it looks perfect for today.
Yeah, no, I think probably 9 AM would be perfect for the 10er in my opinion. Not that if it was preferred if I was racing, but today's absolutely beautiful. Sun's starting to creep through. And they'll be warming up quite quickly. Notice most of the elites, they won't be touching the water over the half. Maybe on the way back, but this early on. But it's good to stay fueled up. For anyone that's got the 10K coming up soon, make sure get the water into you, start the warm up, and away you go.
Get a nice bottle of Hearts water into you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon. They're another beautiful sponsor.
So the ladies' race is closed up. So Tara's now in that group with Ellie. So that's a good sign for her, but also a good sign for the event and the race that we're going to have going on. And in the men's, that pack is still very similar to what it's been. Al doing a good job there, and I know that he's drawn the raw end of the stick too, because he's being asked after this to cool down. Then he's going to warm back up, and I think he's going to pace Robbo for the start of the 10K.
Well, he's done that once before, and I think that day, it wasn't last year but the year before, so 2021, he racked up something stupid like 48 kilometres for the day. Obvious immediate stress fracture for me. I think I wouldn't get past the first 30, but he's obviously in great shape. He's looking really good at the moment, and he just keeps sort of getting better and better each year, each event that he goes to. He's a dominant force now.
Yeah, he said he thinks he's in really good form. Obviously 6 weeks, he's back from the London Marathon, similar to obviously the same as Ellie. She ran that day as well, so let's see what kind of form they can get back in and what sort of training they've been able to complete in those 6 weeks. I haven't seen any of Millie yet.
No, that's right. Well, she's here though. She's here, so we don't know. I haven't seen much stuff on Strava as well, so could be a surprise. Or she might have...
I can't see her in that lead pack, so she must be in that next pack back there, so not too far off the leaders, but yeah, can't see her just yet.
Yeah, sorry, mate, I thought you were talking about her training.
No.
I'm there listening in, mate. Jeez, what's wrong? But yeah, Phil's doing a great job, looking really relaxed. Got Ali foot there out on the left. Got the hat on backwards. You've got the gloves on, which is interesting. Most people don't at the moment, so...
Yeah, a few of them have dropped those now. I know Ryan warmed up full tracksuit 2 jumpers coming from Queensland. He was a bit fresh this morning for him, but it's perfect conditions for half marathon running, and then obviously be perfect conditions for 10K running.
Exactly.
Be a little bit warmer, but not too warm. And as the men, they're sort of rounding the road to come back towards us now, so they aren't too far away. And then they'll make the long stretch out towards Mowbray, past Mowbray, and then for the turnaround at the 14K mark.
So pace has pulled out there. So 18 minutes, obviously, a little under a third of the distance. So he set them up really well. They all look comfortable, spread out. I imagine looks like Ed's starting to push the pace a little bit. Oh no, he's just tucked in behind Riley there.
So yeah, Riley's got the pace-making duties, and I know that having chatted to Al this morning, he'll jog for a bit. You can see him there in the background, and he's going to pick up the women's pacing for a little bit to help them out as well. So it's all about, I guess, community. It is a running community, and they do like to help each other out, and whether that is, you know, the people at the pointy end, the elites, or whether it is the people who might take 2 hours today to do the half or 2.5 hours today to do the half, that it is one big running community.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we've got the Tas Road runners. They always have their paces, which you'll notice out on the courses today. And you know, running's one of those things. It's an individual sport, but it does feel like a team when you're working with someone to try and achieve a goal. And if you can get a pacer, you know, you see it in the cycling when you jump in behind someone. Obviously, you save a lot of drag. But in running, you know, just having that group, having that pack, having someone take the pace, save the energy, so you can make it back to the finish.
All right, well, while we've got him on screen and the pace has dropped out, we might throw to an interview with Ed Goddard from last night as well. All right, so I'm just here with Ed, one of our favourites for the half tomorrow. How are you feeling going into the race, Ed?
Good. I'm glad I'm someone's favourite. It's a good feeling going into the race.
It's been a big training block, and this is obviously your stepping stone to Gold Coast Marathon. So how are you hoping tomorrow's race will play out for you?
I mean, I'm happy there's a pacer. I think that'll be just a nice way to sort of get into the race, just being able to sit behind someone and just get the ball rolling without having to do anything drastic yourself. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because I think there'll be a bit of foxing and people will watch each other. But especially once you head up the highway, like anything can happen up there, and it's a big wide open road, and I think everyone's just going to be trying to run each other off their feet on the way back down.
And the golden question's always this one: will the pace go, and will you go out for Brett's course record from 2020?
I mean, Brett's course record's fast for a reason. Like honestly, it's one of the fastest races in Australia, and so like people come and they run fast every time they come down here. And so like to run the fastest time that's been run in Launceston, like obviously it'd take a massive effort. So I mean, it's not on the front of my mind, but you just never know because shit happens.
All right, good luck, Ed, and good luck for the Gold Coast Marathon as well.
Yeah, thanks heaps. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good interview from Ed there. I mean, 2:13:45 on debut for a Mara. That's a great start.
Yeah, and we discussed last night, just off camera actually, about his training. Is it a different training plan, Ed? I know that he runs basically a half marathon on the treadmill at pace every week, so it'd be interesting to see how that converts out here. But I think he's run, 61 minutes, 62 minutes for the half on the treadmill. So
yeah, I couldn't stay on the treadmill for probably more than 5 kilometres. So to do it for 21, he's a force.
Yeah.
He's a bit different, and yeah, he's certainly my pick for the men's. Of course, he won the Sydney 10 on the 6th of May. So, and looking at his Strava details, that was 29:23. He's definitely in a little bit better shape than that anyway. So,
Yeah, and obviously he's half PBs from here, obviously a little while ago, and as we spoke about it just in that interview there, he's preparing for the Gold Coast Marathon, so he should be strong enough to get through this race. It's just going to be about the speed element of it, but it's really good in this race. I'd say that there's some of the best racers, Ed, Joel, Riley, Andy, they like racing, so it should be a fantastic finish.
Yeah, definitely. Would have been great to have Benny Saint. Is he turned 40? I think he's just turned 40 from memory.
He'd be pretty close, Benny.
He's obviously a force. I think he'll probably go after Mona's 10K record for over 50s the way he's going. So, was it over 50s, over 40s?
Over 50s,
over
I think.
50s,
Yeah,
so it was 29.59.
Yeah, and I just saw Mona ran a lap of the lake in sub 19 minutes or something the other day for the 7K. So still moving along nicely.
Incredible. Now, Phil on screen there, Phil McConnell, so he's a Tassie athlete. You know, I don't think there's been a fun run that he hasn't been at. He's probably one of the most notable Tassie runners. So great of him to help the women here. So both looking pretty comfortable. Tara Pump, I mean, she's got a 32.14 to her name. So, you know, a little while ago, but that's you know, that's a quality time. So I think you know, Ellie might have, you know, a bit of a challenge.
And Tara ran 72.10 on the 2nd of April, so not that long ago, so over in Berlin. So she's back, she's in good form, a little bit more training under her belt, and obviously she's strong. She's a 2-time world cross-country representative, and I'd say a regular here. Like, this is her 4th appearance.
No, that's right. I think we look at most of the field here, and I mean, you know, as we were looking just before, Benny Saint, this is his 6th appearance. This would be Brett's 3rd. Millie, last year she could have made it 4th, but this is her 3rd appearance now after missing last year. So, and once again Ellie, her 3rd appearance. So, and we always usually see them run the bridge and Bernie 10.
Yeah, I think all the events just line up really, really well in the way that they're scheduled through the year. So this one obviously in the middle, quite flat, it's cool, and then obviously October for Bernie 10. They just fit nicely into the calendar for these athletes, and hopefully for Richard in particular, they'll be able to fit those in around their schedules for trying to qualify for the Olympics, which a lot of these athletes will try and do.
Yeah, definitely. They do set up well. Each course a little bit more unique, but I have to say this is my favourite, especially after Jimbo's win last year in the men's race for the 10K, which is coming up a little bit later at 10:30 on the screen at the moment. There we go. We can see the women's on the left-hand side, men's on the right. And we shouldn't write off Joel Tobin White. I've sort of counted him out as far as winning this race, but you've got to remember he's got a 62.49 to his name. Of course, he's a co-host of For the Kudos podcast. And I think he was 9th last week at St Anne's 8 kilometres, so in the 8K cross country. So
yeah, and I think as far as credentials, like 13:38 for 5K, he can run fast and he can fly. So if it is a sprint finish, he's probably the one to beat in that field. I'm not sure exactly how his training's gone. He can get injuries at times, miss a little bit of training, but he looks like he's moving quite well on screen. And what is interesting here is I didn't think it would be Tim Vincent taking the pace up, but they are all running together.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're moving along. We'd love to get a K-split somehow if someone's in the car that's watching the live stream that's filming right now. If we can get a couple of K-splits just to tell the folks at home how fast they're moving. I expected Ed probably to be pushing away at this stage, but it's good to see them all there together, all relaxed. Timmy Vincent, you know, he's a sub 29 minute 10K runner. It's his 2nd appearance at this race. He's had a 2nd place at this race before. So, yeah, quality field in the men's, quality in the women's. Quality in the commentary as well. Shawnee, we've got tickets on ourselves, I do.
Yeah, we do enjoy our own work, and as we can see in the bottom right corner there, Al has picked up the ladies, and he's just about to step off again. So he's now pacing the women's race after he's paced the men's race. So it's just one of those things. Turns up late last night, gets out there, paces both races. Welsh's asked him to pace the 10 as well if he's not too tired. So it's probably going to be a busy day for Al today.
Yeah, and I think he's also got to do the run out to the airport as well. I think he's going to drop a few athletes off. So Relis's just got him working 24/7 at the moment.
Hopefully he's got a good bonus.
Yeah.
I know he got a night's accommodation, but hopefully he got a good bonus for this.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully some chockies after the race. We might get Welsh in here a little bit later when he's free. We want to thank everyone for watching this morning's live stream. All thanks to Duff TV. They always bring the live action for the McGrath Launceston Running Festival, and of course the Think Big Hobart Run the Bridge. And it's not all about the elite athletes as well. Obviously, the majority of people just getting out there. Could be kickstarting a new fitness trend, just keeping healthy, trying to stay motivated as the times get a little bit colder.
Yeah, exactly, and it's fantastic any event, whether it's 5K or whether it's the 10 or whether it's the half, and there is a kids race later on. So any of those events that you can get in and you can support, and we support local and make sure you're fit and healthy, it's just fantastic.
So we see the men there as they make their way out now to the turn, and then with 6Ks to go. So at the moment, coming up on around 9 kilometres, I'd say. And we've got Andy Buchanan at the front, Riley on the left, Ed tucked in behind, Timmy, Joel, Ryan off the back there. But look, they haven't actually put that much into him from about probably 3K ago. So Ryan's moving pretty well at the moment, definitely on that 64-minute pace. Beautiful scenes of Launceston behind us there as the fog starts to lift up.
And they have said that it would be a race. We expected the 5 at the start. As we said, we haven't got any splits, so we can't tell you exactly what pace they're going, but they're pretty comfortable. And the women's race, there still looks like the two of them are together. So Tara just dropping off the back there, but Ellie definitely tucked in behind the paces. Got 2 of them now, so they'll get her out there hopefully a long way. If they can get her all the way out to the turn, she can run down breeze downhill and get home, hopefully for a win, but a close race with Tara.
Yeah, definitely on track at the moment. I mean, it would be tough to try and take down Sinead's 71, but obviously Ellie very capable with a 69.14 to her name. She won the 10K last year, I believe, and it's her 3rd appearance here. So Olympian, world champion. She's also gone to the half marathon champ. So quality athlete. And it's just that tough struggle now with some of these athletes, whether it's the 10 or the half that they're better at. You know, you look at Jack Rayner from last year, obviously running the Australian record over the 10K, and I think everyone saw him as more as a half man or a marathon man. But yeah, the depth at the moment is just incredible.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jack obviously the record holder for the 10, but he's also won a Commonwealth Games gold for the half, and he's also stuck his hand up for the marathon. 2:10, 2:11. So they can all stretch across all the distances, but it is about nailing that one distance. Which one's the best one for them? Which one's the one that's going to get them the Olympic spot? Obviously, the half's not in the Olympics. So it is really, really important that they find that. And talking to Ali this morning at breakfast, she was saying that, Julian, her coach, thinks that she's a better 10K runner than she is a marathoner, but she doesn't think she's a better 10K runner because she doesn't feel like she's got enough speed to go with them on the track. So it is a real difficult balance for them.
Yeah, definitely. And do you go with your heart or go with your head? Do you got to listen to the coach, or do you go your own way and back yourself?
So there we go, 30.20 for 10K. So if we look at that, they're a little bit behind. They're about a minute behind the race record. So they haven't gone as hard as they discussed this morning, but they are in with a good shake of it. And obviously the back end of the course, coming back into town, back down the hill, back down breeze is the quicker part of the course, I think we should say. Yeah, definitely. And I know that back in 2020 when Robbo set that race record, he did have a little bit of a headwind coming back in, especially if there is a few in the bunch and they're going to do a few turns potentially. They can certainly run that last 6K from the turn and make up that ground, definitely. It's going to be very interesting. I think the other thing too is it doesn't have to be always about the race record. It can be about the race. We know, having done Run the Bridge, wasn't a lot of a race for a lot of it, so it's good to have a couple of athletes in the women and 5 athletes in the men all still together. Women will come up to 10K shortly, and they've got 2, and the men have got 5, and it's just fantastic to get them out there racing each other and using it. I think all these athletes are using it as a bit of a springboard into something into the future, whether that's another half for some of them or a full marathon for Ed. and Tim Vincent at the Gold Coast, it is something that they can use, and just a great event and great timing for an event.
Yeah, well said. And mate, I'm at a loss. I'm just trying to think, what can we get? Need to get like a little competition or something for the listeners at home on the live stream. So we've offered up a pair of shoes for the closest to guess the men's and women's winners today in the half. Just think maybe like a coffee date with you or something, mate. Can we auction that off?
I don't think there'll be many takers for that, but I think it's just sometimes it's just really good to sit back, watch what the athletes are doing, looking at how comfortable they are. Ellie's obviously quite comfortable still in the gloves. I don't think they need to hold on to them when they're sponsored athletes. They can just throw them away. So anyone out on the side of the road might be able to pick up some free gloves. But they are moving along. Ed's got rid of the glasses though, so I don't know whether that means that he's struggling or whether he's about to make a move or what, but they all look comfortable there at the front, and it's going to be a fantastic race. And you mentioned him before, and he's probably got the best PB in the field, but Joel has just sat in the whole way. Yeah. He's done none of the pacing, so I wonder if that means that he's just here to race it and win this race.
Yeah, no, Joel is looking very strong. I think, yeah, Ed, it is weird to see him get rid of the glasses because we're so used to seeing it. Maybe just a little bit of moisture in there and it was annoying him, but he still looks pretty good. And he's the one starting to push the pace now. Of course, Andy on the right. And then, Riley's got a good sit there as well. So it's going to be a tough one to pick at the moment. But, yeah, I think you can't go past Ed. And, of course, in the women's, which will come back on screen in a minute, race going between Ellie Pashley and Tara Palm. Not sure what's happened to Millie, whether she just hasn't gone out with the pace or if we'll see if we can get an update.
Yeah, we haven't seen her at all. It's quite interesting. I thought seeing her on the start line, I thought she might be in decent shape if she was rocking up to come here, but obviously we haven't seen her go with it at all. Tara's there, Ellie's there, and we thought it might be a match race in 3. The really, really interesting thing is if we talk about PBs and who could be the best credentialed in here, Tim Vincent has run a 61.43. The course is not legit. It's net downhill, but he has run that 61.43, which would technically make him the fastest and way quicker than his official 63.31.
Yeah, no, that's right. Geez, that'd be annoying running that quick. And I mean, obviously going into the race, he'd know that course isn't officially measured, but yeah, still 61.43 downhill. That's moving, so he's a force at the moment. There's just some really good athletes coming out of Australia. It's the depth is incredible,
and we don't see much from the Queensland athletes. Obviously, we see Ryan a little bit when he comes down, and Jen, but Tim Vincent's from up there as well, and Jack Bruce as well. So you don't see much of them. But I think he's also talking about Tim's PBs. I think he's also run a 62 on a non-measured course. So he's got 2 marks that are not legitimate under his actual PB. So hopefully for him,
that's
today
right.
we can rewrite a PB, and that 63.31 might be a 62 something, or maybe even a 61 if they can make a turnaround and come back nice and sharply.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, obviously halfway through, or just under, the 10K split, 30-20. So, a minute 7 off the race record. So the race record's definitely not under threat. I don't imagine, unless something crazy happens over the next 5K. But great chance for all of them to go close to PBs. There's a really good ability for, I think, Riley, especially if the pace does pick up, just to go that low 62. Joel's obviously got the 62.03, so if he does that, he's probably almost going to win this race. And then Andy, running a 2:10 but a PB of 62. I think he's probably got a better PB in him than a 62 for a half. So yeah, it's all going to unfold on our screens here. Phil doing a great job with the pacing. Tara just dropping off the back at the moment, so you'd hate to get dropped now. Still a long way to go. Yeah,
it is a long road back, and I have, as I said, discussing with Alistair this morning, I didn't think he was going to go out that far. I didn't think he was going to make the trip out with the girls out there, but he is. So he may have a very, very long day ahead of him today in the pacing duties. But once again, Tim sort of dropped to the back there, and now it's Riley Cox and Andy Buchanan with the pace. So it's going to be a really, really good match race, and it's going to be interesting to see who makes what move. Obviously, when they turn, they've got about 6-7 Ks to go, and that's going to be really, really important for them to pace themselves and also get a real match race going on.
Yeah, exactly. And look, beautiful shots there. We've got Optus here, obviously, with a big screen. And that's nice McGrath BMW. So they're naming rights sponsor. Great to have them on board. Big shout out to Josh Hart. I'm not sure if he's running. Last year, he was happy to get the medals out. I'm not sure if this year he was going to lace up the shoes and jump in the 5K. So we'd love to maybe catch up with him later as well for a quick interview. But men's and women's races unfolding on your screen at the moment. We just jumped onto the live chat here, and we've got Millie Clark and Vanessa Wilson were around 50 seconds off the first lady at the 6 kilometre mark. So just pacing themselves potentially. And then at the 8K through, they've slowed down a little bit. So yeah, I think Millie maybe just not in the best shape at the moment, but this is a great chance to kickstart, a domestic season for her. She's obviously had injury struggles, and I know that she obviously works full-time as a teacher as well, so it's hard to balance those sort of things.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what she does. Obviously 10th all-time in the marathon, so she shouldn't be discredited in anything that we're talking about. So hopefully maybe she'll have another tilt in the Olympics. I don't know if her plans are to continue with the marathon, but she's someone that we'd like to see, especially from Tasmania. You know, we talk about her, we talk about James Hansen. They put their name up in lights all the time, and that's something that we'd like to see continue.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tassie, as far as athletes go, and Stewie McSwain as well, we punch above our weight per population, especially in athletics. And it's always great to see them down. Obviously, Richard and Millie, great friends, and Richard was their manager, so they've got a long-standing relationship, not only within these races, but from a management point of view. And yeah, she's just a lot of fun. She reminds me a bit of Ed. They're both very individual and motivated, and train hard. Millie's a worker, so I used to do a little bit of training with her, and some of the sessions that she'd put out, they'd put me to sleep pretty quickly.
Well, hopefully we're going to see a little bit of the men, hopefully getting towards the turnaround. Obviously 40 minutes, so if we're talking about them, they're probably almost 2/3 of the way through this race. And I don't know if we should mention it, but there's a bit of a podcast battle going on today. Obviously, Joel for the Kudos and Tim and Ed at the moment doing a little section on Inside Running podcast. So there's going to be some definite bragging rights between the two sets of podcasts, Australian running podcasts, I should say.
Yeah, no, and both really strong. Obviously, Brett and Joel, theirs isn't, it's a little bit newer. I think they're up to about episode 40 or so, might be a bit more. Inside Running obviously been around for a long, long time, but it's just great to see Australian athletics now becoming a bit more mainstream. I was trying to chat to a friend, and I showed him a video on YouTube, and he's like, oh, geez, they're moving pretty quick. And I don't think the average person realises just how fit and how talented these athletes are, and just how tough running is as a sport. It's got to be up there with one of probably the toughest sports, I think personally, going around.
Well, there's a reason there's not many people up the pointy end, isn't there? Obviously, we talk about the pointy end a lot on the stream, and we love the community aspect of it and the people who get out there and just have a go for themselves. Maybe it is just a PB that hasn't dropped too much, and this is Richard's dreaded hill here, so they are coming up to the turnaround.
Timmy Vincent, just a little trip there on the left.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and that kind of little thing can shake momentum. So hopefully he's all right. It looks like he's bounced back pretty quick. But it's about, was it 600 up, I think, from memory?
Yeah,
this hill?
So it's quite a long way. It obviously was shortened since the first year. So when we talk about Brett's course record, I guess it's a little bit more impressive, isn't it? That he's run it with more of the hill. But you can see in the background there, they're running away. So when they turn around, it'll be about the 14K mark. So they are due to turn very, very quickly.
And then the long stretch home, but beautiful conditions out here. Great job in the pacing here. Ellie just slightly maybe falling off the back, but a nice little sit there with Phil. It's just great to see, as we said. There's a long way for her to go on her own. To have 4 guys around her, pushing her along, that'll help her, keep focused, try and stay as relaxed as possible. But yeah, unfortunately for her, the hill's still to come. So the toughest part of the race hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether Elle's just quickened it up a little bit or whether Ellie slowed down. But obviously, one of the luxuries is for Ellie that she's got those pacemakers there for her. So if she wants them to slow down or speed up, they can do that. And as the men just make the turn, so they're probably 7.5 Ks away from the finish line now in 42 minutes. So they are moving quite well, and it is still a race of 5.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And beautiful shots there before from the cameraman overlooking the river there. It reminded me of the Tour de France a little bit, how they pan the camera out, and show these beautiful sights. Because I mean, Launceston, look at it, absolutely beautiful, sun beaming through, and they're stretched out here as we can see now. So Ellie's got a nice little sit, but you can see that there's probably a couple of the paces that are probably trying to stay on what Ellie's requested, and it's just a job for her to do now is just stay on and stay relaxed and get to the top of this hill, and then hopefully smooth sailing on the way back down.
Yeah, we should mention, obviously 6 weeks post a marathon, there would be some element of tapering in there, and for that marathon, then an element of the recovery, and then to get back into it, it'd be interesting to see exactly how much training she's done. I can't imagine there'd be too many long runs in there. Can't imagine there'd be too much threshold work in there, but we'll see how she goes today, and obviously she is in front. Tara's there, but she's in control of the race. And now for the first time we've seen Joel come to the front of the race. So training partner with Brett. Maybe this is where Brett told him is a good time to make a move, but he's come to the front for the first time.
Yeah, no, of course. And, Brett and Joel, housemates, obviously got the podcast together, training mates. Geez, I wonder if they get sick of each other every now and then. We don't sort of hear about that, but, obviously great knowledge from Brett to pass on to Joel. All part of the MTC group, and Joel is looking really good, and I feel bad. I shouldn't have said that he wasn't up there in my picks, because he's making me look silly.
Look, I think we made ourselves look silly at Run the Bridge, didn't we? I think we changed our picks 4 or 5 times in the space of 10k, and especially over the bridge in the space of about 5k. So we're quite happy to change our picks and be right at the end.
That's right.
So we'll let the listeners know what we think in about 7k's time.
Yeah, I'm just not going to pick one, I don't think, because they're all bloody talented, and I think it's a tough one at the moment, because we haven't really seen a half here at the Launceston Running Festival where there's been 5 with about 6k to go. It hasn't happened before. Usually, Brett's pulled away. So I think the men's race is going to come down to the wire. Ellie's still looking pretty relaxed as she starts to get closer to that dreaded hill. But great pacing from Phil. And then Timmy Vincent, now you can see on the bottom right-hand side, he's gone to the front. So potentially doing turns. They're stretched out here.
Yeah, it is interesting that they're doing that. And they've gone to single file, so whether the pace has picked up or whether they're running into a slight breeze, but it doesn't look like from here that there's much breeze out there. So maybe the pace has picked up. Maybe some of them are trying to make a move. Or maybe they're all just foxing, as Ed said last night, there will be a bit of foxing. Maybe they're all just foxing to wait and make their move a little bit closer to home.
Yeah, exactly. And if it came down to the sprint finish in the half, who are you backing? Are you going to back Joel? Do you think?
I think I'd back Joel.
Back Joel.
I think I'd back Joel in that sprint finish. Probably a little bit more noted in this field for his shorter work, obviously coming from triathlon background. So it would be interesting to see, but I don't think we should discount anyone, except I think that pace has picked up, because it looks like Riley's just dropping off the back a little bit. So Andy said he'd know how he was going at about the 15k mark. Well, we're about to find out how Andy's going to finish off the race, obviously fresh off his marathon, but it's going to be a very, very close finish.
We see Ellie now approaching the hill as she gets up there. As we said, 7k to go. And you don't see the elite athletes usually take on water. I imagine on the way back though they might just. But you can see the guys here just tucked in really close on that right-hand side for them. Single file. Timmy's looking really good actually. He's heads up, nice and light on the feet, having a bit of a look around. Ed, never know what's really going on. I don't think his face or it doesn't change whether he's hurting or if he's feeling comfortable. So, and then Joel tucked in second. So yeah, the men's going really strongly. Beautiful camera action here from Duff TV.
The more I look at this hill from this angle...
Oh, it's steep.
It is steep, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'd be getting the bike out for this one.
It is steep. I think the elite athletes really need, and the local athletes really need to talk to Richard about this hill. We need to make a change here. It looks too steep to be running up at this time.
Well, let's jump on the live stream. What do you reckon? Keep the hill or remove it? We'll see. We'll see how many people. If you're a runner, I imagine you want it to be removed. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm not too strong on the hills, but I think it's certainly not as bad as the little pincher, I think, at Hobart Run the Bridge. And you can see Riley just popping off on the left-hand side of the screen, so potentially it could be a race in 4 now.
Tim must be very, very comfortable. He's just had a nice look at the scenery there, just looking over the river, so he looks a bit comfortable, but he's trying to swing out here, and I think they are taking turns. So he's trying to swing out here and get out of the pacemaking duties, and looks like Joel's going to come through. But I think this is going to be a fantastic race, and Riley just needs to hang on because they will slow here if it's going to be a bit of a match race.
Yeah, I think so, and they might have had a conversation wants to push the pace.
Yeah, and as they come past, it'd be interesting. I always wish the runners need to see what the kilometre markers is, but it'd be nice for us to be able to see what the back of that sign is, so that we could give what is that sign there. You know, it's probably 16 somewhere around there, 17 kilometres an hour. It'd be interesting to see exactly what that is.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to match up on Google Maps where they are, and I was trying to just track it there. I think that last split was about 3:08.
Yeah, okay, so a little bit off what they were asking for, but as we said, it's not always about the course records. Sometimes it is about just the pure racing, and as we mentioned, that Riley's just been able to get back on to make it a race of 5.
Yeah, exactly as you said. So, I mean, the pace was pushed, and then no one really wanted to take the front. You've got Andy on the front now, and that's allowed Riley to jump back on, and you know, the second wind comes in, instinct will take over, and the adrenaline will start, and if you've got a sniff, especially these guys, someone like Riley, super talented athlete, been around for a long time. He's very strong, good cross-country runner, and if he's there sort of with 4 or 5k to go, you can't discount him either.
One of the good things for Ellie, obviously the 2 paces, but as the men start to come back to her, she gets that pace as well. They don't get that always when they have the women's only fields. So it's really lucky for her. She's now got a group of 5 that she can run with, and as some more come back to her, obviously the elites pace it a little bit better. She might get a bigger group and help her carry through to the finish line. But having a look at the flags here at the finish line, it's absolutely perfect conditions. 5 degrees, 6 degrees, no wind. This is perfect half marathon running weather, and it'll warm up a little bit for the 10, and then it'll probably be perfect 10k running weather when they get out.
Yeah, no, we need Peter Murphy down here to take over from Nicky Earl and give us a weather update. I don't think he could predict or produce better conditions than this.
Nick will be here shortly. I think he's running the 10.
Oh, perfect.
So that'll be good. Maybe Rich will be able to talk to him at the start and just get a last-minute weather update.
If you had to choose between Liam Adams' race kit or Nick Earl's crop top, what are you picking?
I think I'm going the dirty tradie singlet, to be honest.
Every day of the week, that crop top needs to go.
I'm not sure whether you should be cutting your singlets so they turn into a crop top, but Nick does Nick, and a bit like Ed does Ed. I think they're alternative, and they run their own show.
You would not see me out there with a crop top, that's for sure, Shawnee. We might actually have to chat about Nick. We might see it might be refused entry if we see the crop top back out again.
Surely there's no need for a crop top today in these conditions, but you never know. But it's going to be a fantastic match race as they come down. They're obviously back past Mowbray.
And we've got Riley now, so obviously, 5 minutes ago it looked like he was probably dropping off the back. Now he's actually the one that's pushing the pace. And they'll start to single file out here, I think. Joel looking very comfortable. He's also got the glasses off. And does Ed have his back on?
Ed's got the glasses back on.
He must have been running. He's used to having a phone in his hand, so he's probably had the sunnies in his hand when we couldn't see him. Maybe not getting paid so well that he can throw them out. He's probably got to hold on to those ones at the moment. But you can see the guys here at the front doing a great job for Ellie.
So Phil's done a fantastic job there. We've just lost the one of our pacers for the women, but he's gone. That's 16 kilometres for the women, which is amazing for Ellie to have that company and have someone there to push her or at least set the pace for her and get her as close as they can to the finish line. But I'm not exactly sure of the distances here. Pat, you'd probably know more than me, but they couldn't have much more than 3K to go.
Yeah, I think it might be just a dash under 3.
Yep.
Probably, yeah, looking at that and looking at the time here, I think they're probably around that 62:30. We'll see if we can get a split update. But, yeah, at this point now, tactics are going to start to play out. So you can see Timmy on the right-hand side of the screen. I think Riley, obviously, has been pushing it, but they're going to come around. And I think, yeah, this next 5 minutes is going to be a telling sign for the men's race.
And we've always got to mention that the elites are very similar to those runners in, who would go out there and just do it for a bit of fun. There's going to be an element of who wants to win here for some of them. For Joel, he's probably not going to run a PB, so he's looking to win. For Tim, he can run a PB, so there's got to be this little trade-off between who can run a PB or what they do there, and also who can win the race.
Yeah, definitely, and I think. Especially from what we've seen in the last few years of this race, that last sort of 2K is where it'll be one and run, and all 5 looking pretty strong. But I think Riley's just starting to drop off potentially. Andy, we're not sure obviously how he was going to pull up from racing last weekend, but he's looking pretty good at the moment. But I think Timmy, I shouldn't throw it out there, but I'm going to say Timmy Vincent. I'm thinking he's looking the goods at the moment.
Yeah, well, as we see there, Riley's dropped off. He was pushing the pace not that long ago, but maybe that they've accelerated. He was quite comfortable at the pace they were, but they've accelerated a little bit here, and he's dropped off again. Andy looks like it's starting to stretch a little bit for him. Obviously, to run a 2:10 marathon 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, for him, he's going to miss some training. But it will be interesting to see exactly how this plays out with about 3.5K, 2K to go.
Yeah, no, not far to go at all, I don't think. It would have to be based on that 54. I reckon, 2.5. Timmy looking good. And I mean, we talk about Andy as well. He was 33rd at World Cross. That's a huge result. And obviously, off the back of that 2:10 marathon, so we know he's really strong. It's just about now that he's, I shouldn't say younger guys, that's probably a bit rude. Timmy, Joel, and Ed, probably a little bit quicker over the shorter stuff. So I think it's now a race in 3.
Yeah, and Andy, obviously, a Commonwealth Games representative. He finished 7th in that marathon at the Commonwealth Games. Obviously, he's an outstanding runner, someone who took it up relatively late. You wouldn't say he's trained through as a junior, so he's one that could be featured in the finish. And when we look at the women's there, obviously Elle's still out there as the pacer for Ellie, but she's out solo. This looks like it's been run and won. Tara seems to have dropped off, and we haven't seen Millie, but it looks like that's run and won, and there could be a potentially good match race in the men's.
And you can just see they're just hugging the inside of that railing there, trying to take the shortest route possible. They're flying at the moment. I'd say these guys at the moment would be going at low 250s, I think, at this stage. And as we said, probably approaching, so coming up on 56 minutes. Yeah, there wouldn't be more than 2K to go. And as we cross back here, we've got Ellie. About 2K to go, and I think Timmy's my pick, but the pace has certainly sharpened up now, and it's going to be a big finish.
And as we've got plenty of world champs representatives and Olympians and Commonwealth Games representatives, just looking at the van window, we can see a local legend out there, world champs representative Josh Harris, standing by watching the live stream out there. So
he's got a cup of coffee as well. He didn't bring one in, which is a bit of a shame for us. Our hands won't be too warm, but no, it'd be good to see Josh back out there running. He represented Australia recently. I'm not sure of the exact. Is it the Zwift? Like it's the
Zwift.
International. However you say it, but that's incredible. Obviously, a talented cyclist, talented runner.
All right, and we're going to cross to Richard. Oh no, we're not crossing to Richard. Look like we're going to cross to Richard, but we're not. So we'll cross to Richard.
Yeah, no, we're having a good time down here with Gunnar, Mike Gunson. What do you think, Gunnar?
Oh, look, it's a great course, mate. It is really one of the fastest and best courses in Australia. I love it. The conditions are perfect. The road's flat. It could be anything, mate.
Yeah, we got big plans. We were talking last night about hopefully making this event even bigger and on an international level. We're obviously the #1 half marathon in Australia at the moment, but we want to be one of the best in the world.
Oh, look, absolutely. It ticks all the boxes. It's easy to get to. It's a beautiful little city. The road and the course is scenic, fast, flat. It ticks everything.
Awesome. We just need more local people to get involved. So enjoy it. Couple of Ks to go. Back to you, boys.
And boom. I mean, we can see there, Ed's just taken the race on. Timmy tucked in. I think Joel and Andy just struggling to hold on potentially. But single filed out, and Ed's the one going for it, and he's just got that very familiar style. He's just got a lot of arm movement, the mullet just glistening in the breeze there.
And with what would be, I suppose, for them 5 minutes of running to go, it's a really good time to make a move. He hasn't, if we talk about the battle of the podcasts, he looks like he's dropped Joel, but he hasn't dropped his podcast co-host in Tim. So hopefully it's going to be a fantastic race. But they have picked up that pace with about 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go probably. And for some of them, Ed, maybe not, but for others, there is a PB on track here.
Definitely, and of course, we haven't spoken about it yet, but $2,000 as well. So, there's potentially, bragging rights, but also the nice cash reward there. And athletics, obviously, these guys are travelling a lot. It's not the cheapest sport when you've got to travel the world. So, it'll come down to who wants it the most, but also, who's just got that little kick at the end. And I think at the moment, Ed's looking the goods to take home the cherries.
Yeah, they do travel a lot, and it does help. I know that if we talk about Jimmy Hansen, probably went over to Western Australia just to recoup a little bit of money for some more travel that he's going to do later in the year. So it's really, really important for the athletes that they do give a good showing here, because it is important to their travel plans. Some of them, most of them, still work. Andy, full-time teacher as well. Tim's a exercise physiologist, so they are still working, and it's a bit of extra money for them to take some time off work and get overseas. Yeah, definitely hard balance, but we can see Ed really starting to push it. Tim's got a good sit, but I think there might be a slight gap opening. And then Andy, I think if Andy can stay in there, we know he's strong. If anything drops at the moment, he just doesn't want it to get any further than that sort of 2 metres that is there at the moment. But as we look at that mark, I reckon we're coming up on about a K it'll be under a K to go now, I reckon. Probably about 800 metres to go. They'll make a right and then come into this new sort of finishing chute we've had the last 2 years here, which is a nice little outlook in comparison to finishing on Lindsay Street. I like this new finish line. Yeah, and they do that little U-turn at the top of the street before they come into this. So it's a little bit of a technical finish. Not too much of a technical finish, but they are under 1 kilometre to go. So it won't take them very long. They'll take a right, they'll go up, do a little bit of a U-turn, come back, take another right, and then into the finishing straight, which would probably be 400 metres, I suppose. Yeah, I've actually tried to get the Garmin to connect, and with these buildings here, it doesn't actually link up too well. But this is a fast little finish, so Ed will just be searching now. He'll make that right, as we said. But Timmy's hanging in there, and so is Andy. So, geez, I mean, it could come down to the wire. Ed still looks probably the favourite, but a lot can unfold in this next 600 metres. And Robbo probably hasn't left the race hotel yet, but he'll be happy. They're not going to get that 61.38 from here, so he gets to maintain a course record. And spoke to him last night about could he hold both of them at the same time when he goes and has a crack at Jack's later this morning, I should say, not this afternoon, but later this morning in the 10K. Yeah, that's right. I mean, and of course there was bonus money, so race record another 1,000, and then if you get the All Australian Comers record another 1,000, so it's potential to win 4. First place will walk away with $2,000, second $1,000, and third $500. So plenty of money to be won. And I think Timmy's just trying to tack back on here. So they're just about to run past exactly where they'll turn and go down for the finishing chute, but they've got to do this little dinky U-turn. Yeah, and as we say that, we can just see Andy's just popped up almost into second place now. It looked like he was falling off just a few moments ago, but that's that marathon strength that's going to come handy in this end of the half at the McGrath Launceston Running Festival. And here's that. Remember when
That
we used
sweeping,
to
yeah.
Remember we used to finish on that bank up there. That 1 year.
Yeah,
in
the COVID year.
The COVID year.
The dreaded year we don't see. We just saw Ed have a little bit of a look, so I think he thought he had a little bit more on him than what he did. And this is where it gets exciting, mate. This is where we can talk a bit quicker and we can rev things up, because this is going to be a tremendous finish. And we can see Ed now comes right through.
He's made the turn into the home straight, so it's Ed, Andy, and Tim. So this is a fantastic run from Andy Buchanan,
mate. It's incredible. Ed's obviously going to win here, I think, unless something crazy happens under this next sort of 30 seconds. But Ed Goddard's going to take first place. Timmy Vincent. Oh, sorry, Andy Buchanan. Oh, geez, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely Ed and then Andy, and then Tim, Joel, and Riley. So it's been quite a close finish, but he said he was going to have a go last night, and he looks like he's going to come across. Wow, so Ed comes across. I'm not sure what the little pocket guns were, but an interesting salute there. It's 63.11, something around that mark.
Yeah, no, he's got the pistols out there, and he's happy with himself, and why wouldn't you be? That's a great finish. Huge comeback there from Andy to get over the top of Timmy Vincent, and then obviously Joel Tobin White comes across to take fourth, and Riley finishing off now. So huge race that was.
Yeah, and in 63.11 and then 63.40, and the top five have finished within 29 seconds of each other is a fantastic credit to the field that they've put together. And as Ellie comes in, she's eyeing off sort of the 71.04 mark. I think it'll be a bit slower than that, run by herself today. So I think it'll be a bit slower than that, but fantastic.
We'll just cross to Ed now.
You just got to believe in yourself and believe that you are. That I belong there, and that's what I did. Hung in there, found a move, sprinted like a mofo, and won, which is pretty cool.
What was the toughest thing about it? You said it was pretty tough.
Well, that hill and turnaround. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly for like 14 k's into a half. Joel made a move off the bottom, and he looked really strong. I thought he could pull away from it then, but I just gave myself a sniff and rolled with the punches, had some fun, won some money.
Are you impressed with your time?
I actually have no idea what time around, but yeah, like I wasn't feeling amazing out there, so I knew from pretty early on it wasn't going to be the fastest one to run, but it's probably the biggest win of my life, so like that's pretty cool.
Incredible job, and what's next for you?
I got Gold Coast Marathon, 3 weeks or something.
So this is training for the marathon?
Everything's training for the marathon.
Good luck with it, Ed, and well done.
Man, imagine him in the NBA. He just gives the best interviews, Ed. He's a funny fella.
I'm glad he chose the PG versions of some of the words that he used there, but a couple of things you don't normally hear. You know, gnarly.
Gnarly. No, he looks like a surfer. Yeah. So great personality, and it's just great to have him back in Launceston.
And then we must be about 2k away from the finish of the women's, but what a fantastic result there and a great run. And I didn't see, because what Grego ran, I know he was trying to run 64 minutes. I'm not exactly sure what he ran. But Ed doing a couple of interviews, I wonder what other words he's got.
Yeah, no, I think there might be a few asterisks in the Examiner tomorrow. Colourful choices. I mean, I've known to have done that a couple of times as well, not knowing the microphone's on, but Ed's he's a colourful character. He's got the ASIC sponsorship as well. I think that was signed in the last year or so, I believe.
Yeah, yep. So ASIC sponsored athletes.
Results, Ed Goddard, 1 hour 3 minutes 11 seconds. Andy Buchanan, 103.16. Tim Vincent, 103.18. And Brian Rowe tells me that the top 6 under 65 minutes.
Incredible.
So Ryan must have run under 65 minutes, we just heard there. So they just announced a few results. So it was really good results there. So five athletes under 63.40. So yeah, amazing running there. So as Ellie comes sort of back towards the finish, we know that this part of the course is quite quick if you feel okay. So she will have about 1.5 k's to go. Did anyone get close on the live stream to 63.11?
I'm going to hit the refresh button because it's just timed down on me, and we'll have a look. I don't think anyone actually did the men's and women's. We've had a few shout outs, but we'll just have a quick look on this one.
So she's still leading. She's out by herself. You can't see another female in the distance at the moment. So she's working hard. Obviously, fresh off a marathon in London and working towards a marathon later in the year in Valencia. So she's looking to stitch up that third place or at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, as we said, extremely strong team, and there's daylight between her and second. So a huge run from her. She looks really comfortable. There's probably a little patch there. Probably through the second half of the race where she looked like she was hurting a little bit, but yeah, obviously strong athlete. She ran St Anne's last week over the cross country, so it's almost been like probably like a hard threshold for her today, I think.
Yeah, she's a strong athlete, and obviously she ran last weekend in the St Anne's cross country as well. So that was a little bit of a tune-up for this event. Won that quite easily, and she's a top 8 world marathon major finisher. So she is a quality athlete. As she works towards the finish line, not walks. That would be bad, but as she makes that turn, she's got less than a kilometre to go. We've seen this finish with the men. And good on Elle getting out of the way now. He's done a good job. He came over to do some pacing, and he's paced the whole of the females and the start of the males.
Yeah, no, that's a big ask. I couldn't do it, but it's obviously awesome for Ellie. A long way to go on her own, but she'll make her way towards the finish line, and she's $2,000 richer. A bit of fitness to bank in, and this is a really good start for the rest of the year for her.
The real question is she 2 minutes and 4 seconds away from the finish line, or is she closer than that? Because that's where the course record is. Obviously, some bonus cash there if you can break the course record, and a good friend of hers course record as well.
That's right. Yeah, she's Sinead for 71.04. So actually, looking at the times here, I think she's actually probably on course record. So me saying it looks like a hard threshold is probably not right. That's probably well off, because I think she might break it.
Would this be our first Tasmanian finishing? Bradley Tennick just going to come over the line?
I think so. The camera's just dropped back, but Ellie's just making away with that little technical turn, and I think it's going to go close. So 71.04 from last year from Sinead is well under threat.
Yeah.
There's Tom Beard, I believe.
Oh, Tom Beard might have been Brad. Yeah, Brad Tennick over the line there. So that was a close match race for the Tasmanians.
It's always a race within a race with the Tassie boys. No, that's not Tommy Beard. Who is it? Jeez. You can't tell when you haven't seen people for a few years, mate.
Exactly, but here we go. So she comes down to the turn with about a minute.
So she's got a minute to go.
I'm not sure if she's going to get that course record, but it's a fantastic run nonetheless. And obviously she wasn't sure exactly what shape she was in. Hadn't done much work around this pace recently, especially with that marathon not that long ago, but a fantastic run.
And of course, a mum this time last year, I think.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so that's obviously something that we're lucky enough we don't have to have that struggle. That's a great thing, and it's amazing to bounce back that quickly. And she's obviously very talented. Been around for a little while, but still running PBs and a dominant force in Australian distance running. Yeah,
she must be due to round this corner very, very shortly, and then down to the finish. And she comes around the corner now, so down to the finishing chute. It's not going to be a course record, but it is a fantastic hit out, and it's probably going to be sub 72.
Yeah, no, that's still a huge run. Obviously, as we say, not sure what sort of shape with the field as well. She was the strongest in the field, so it's tough to run a course record all on your own. So huge run. She'll break 72 minutes. $2,000 richer, and this is going to help kick off her campaign into the bigger events.
And another win, I know that they'd be talking about, but another win for Surf Coast Track Club there in Victoria. So
it's a bit of a battle there.
They'd be quite happy with that, but Ali Pashley about to come over the line.
Give it up for Ellie Pashley, the winner of the Think Big Half Marathon for 2023.
What a great run by Ali. 71, under 72.
Yeah, pulled up well. Doesn't look like she'd blow out a candle. So, she's obviously very fit. and we'll jump to Richard hopefully very soon to get an interview with Ellie and sort of see how she found out on the course.
See how she found that nice hill, and you can see Phil just about coming over the line behind her, so not too far behind the pacemaker, so he's done a good job there, Phil. And we'll throw to Richard, who's going to try and grab Ellie for a bit of a chat.
And
there's the pacemaker, Phil McConnell, crossing the line. Well done, Phil.
So Welshie's, we'll cross to Welshie now.
Into Gletto Street as well, so we'll be looking for her. Looks like we've got second place getter Tara Palm now. She came over from
She did have done a really good job here, Tara Palm, because she got dropped reasonably early into this, and she's
gone close to that today.
She's done a really good job running. That's a very solo run.
Oh, yeah, as we were saying earlier, would have been great to have a few more around her. That last half of that race would have been really tough, but you know, low 73, second place, $1,000. You know, and she's pulled up pretty well as well. You can see. I'd always hate to have to do an interview straight after running a half. I wouldn't be able to catch my breath. Looking at Ed, he made it look so easy, and same with Ellie and Tara there.
Yeah, they make it look very easy, don't they? When they've just covered 21.1 kilometres in 70 odd minutes, or for the men a little bit less than that. They make it look very, very easy.
So we've got our top two in the women, Ellie Pashley and Tara Palm. We're looking for our
So we can see Martin there in the middle there. He's got the jacket on, Duff TV, all the live stream. Great quality.
Fantastic quality on the stream. Give some air time to some of the other athletes as well.
Can you believe it, Monika? She missed the start last year. She slept in. She was going to run.
Millie?
Yeah.
Did she still run?
Nope.
No.
Nope. It's all right. I told her what I thought of that.
So still no Millie Clark, still no third in the females. Obviously,
there's an app for that. It's called an alarm.
There's the 1, 2 and 3 came through very close in the men's. Obviously the 1 and 2 reasonably close to the women's, but a little bit spread out for third.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting coming up in the next hour or just over. We've got the 10K, so stacked fields in those ones as well. Jimmy Hansen, obviously defending champion, going up against Robbo. Andrew Waring. We've also got Jose. You're going to have to say that one, mate. I'm going to bugger it up. Jose Kipyego Koji, does that sound all right?
That's where I'd go. Jose Kipyego Koji from Kenya. So he's a 2:14 marathoner. He'll be quite nice and strong in the field. It's pretty deep.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Adrian Potter. You got Ed Marks making a debut, and then in the women's you got Lisa Waitman, Leanne Pompiani, and Izzy Bat-Doyle. I mean, that women's race is going to be very exciting as well.
And here comes Millie, almost about to cross the line now.
Millie Clark, Launceston's best distance runner indeed.
So this is our third place lady.
2 years ago. And the Tasmania.
And she looks comfortable, very comfortable.
75 minutes, very comfortable.
I think for her that was a a little bit of an opener. She's pulled up pretty well from that. Partner there, TJ. And straight off, I mean, look at that, mate. Just run a half marathon and just casually walk off like it's a stroll in the park. So makes me want to start running again, mate. When are we going to go for a run?
Well, we won't be up this pointy end.
Yeah.
Well, you might be. I definitely won't be up the pointy end. But yeah, they've made that look very, very easy coming across the line. 75 minutes for Millie's probably, it's nowhere near her best, but it's probably an opener for her. Maybe onto something later in the year that's going to be.
Yeah, definitely kickstart it. And we're going to probably jump across to Richard now if he's there and chat to some of the athletes.
So official results in the women's, our winner, Ellie Pashley, 1 hour 11 minutes 53 seconds. Tara Palm second, 1 hour 13 minutes 17 seconds. And Millie Clark, the Tasmanian champion, in third place, 1 hour 15 minutes 48 seconds.
So there you go, top 1, 2 and 3 in the men's and women's Think Big Half Marathon. All results will be live. Jump on to launcestonrunningfestival.com.au.
And we're finally going to cross to Richard with our winner of the ladies' half.
Well, we've given her a little bit of a moment to catch her breath, and fair enough, but our winner of the Think Big Half Marathon, Ellie Pashley, well done.
Yeah, thanks, Welshie. It's good to be back, and I've done the 10K a couple of times, but never the half. So, yeah, always fun to have a win, and beautiful morning here in Tassie.
Nice to run half the distance of your last race.
Yeah, it was, although sometimes half marathons are even harder than marathons, I reckon. It's more painful, and they're still long enough that you feel like you're out there for a really long time.
How was the pace? Were you on pace early on? Did the guys help out, or are you happy with the time, 1 hour 11 and change?
Yeah, the paces were awesome. Al and Phil were perfect, bang on for the first 10, 12K, and then I started dropping off a little bit, so they slowed down to help me. So yeah, we were probably on for the first half, but I felt like pretty early on the record wasn't going to be on for me today. It felt too hard from the start. So yeah, that's okay. I'm happy enough with 71.
You did say that any record that Sinead Diver has is a tough one to beat, and it proved to be the case today.
Yeah, that's it. And I think she had a really windy, rotten day when she did it. She was running by herself the whole way. So yeah, it just shows how good she is, isn't it? When I had 2 pacemakers the whole way and I was still a long way off.
And absolutely glorious conditions. Could they have been better?
Yeah, it was perfect. We thought we were going to have a little bit of wind from the north, but it was actually beautiful out there. I don't think it gets any better than this.
Awesome, that's fantastic. And have you got any race plans coming up you can share with? What's next on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I'm doing Gold Coast Half in July, and then I'm hoping to do a marathon later in the year. So looking at Valencia, trying to get into that at this stage. Yeah, but other than that, not much. Just prepping for the next big marathon.
Fantastic. Well done on the win today. Congratulations, Ellie Pashley. Always lovely to have you here in Launceston.
Thanks. Always good to be here.
Cheers.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Obviously, first race run and won, so the bigger races, and then we've got the 10K coming up in just over an hour. Who are you picking on that? Men's and women's. Let's go. Let's actually lock it in.
Let's lock it in. Well, I think we can't go any further than Brett in the men's 10K.
Yeah,
I think
if you're a bookie, I think he's probably paying $1.05.
Yeah, like he is first all time over the half. He's the Oceania record holder for the marathon. So I think that he's got to be the lock for the 10K in the men. The women though is more open. Now, talking to Welshie last night, he doesn't like my pick, but I'm going to pick Izzy Bat-Doyle.
Yeah, look, that was actually going to be my pick as well, mate, so I might have to choose something else now. You've stolen that from me. But, yeah, I mean, the women's is going to be really, really, really close, I think. All three very versatile. I think Izzy, on paper, probably a little bit quicker over the shorter stuff. And I think if, all three are together and you got 2K to go, Izzy Bat-Doyle is going to be your pick. But, I mean, on fitness as well, Lisa Jane Waitman, she's a 3-time winner of this race. She's been here 4 times, so 75% of the time she comes down, she wins it. So that's hard odds to bet against. And, of course, Leanne Pompiani, she represented Australia twice at the World Cross Country. 31.45 for a 10K back in May as well. So that's, I mean, on paper, that's tough to beat as well. Izzy's 5 seconds quicker over 10. So... Geez, open book, mate. That's a tough one. Just close your eyes and we'll have to watch it unfold.
Yeah, and I think that was Rich's point last night. I think with Leanne, both her 5 and 10,000 metre PBs in the last month. So she's come back from overseas. She should be ready to go. She should be she's in career best form. It's literally about how she's going to present today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, she was second at Hobart Run the Bridge earlier this year. A little bit slower than what her PB is, obviously being the undulating course down there. But yeah, I think Izzy Bat would probably be my pick. A 15.04 for 5K early on the year as well. So that's, I think she'd be hard to go past based on that.
Yeah, and as we see our local runners come across the line, maybe they've travelled down from interstate. I think they said last night there's about 200 to 300 people who travel down each year to come and run this race. So that's really good for the Tassie economy. But as they come across the line, hopefully it's PBs for them. Maybe they came out here with a certain goal, and hopefully they're ticking those off this morning.
Yeah, exactly right. It's always good, especially in winter. It's tough to get out in the mornings, and if you can get out and get your run out of the way nice and early as well. And a lot of these guys will be loving the fact they got Monday off, so plenty of time to enjoy their Sunday. I imagine we'll see them probably over at Mud Bar, being a sponsor, and everyone will just wind down, relax on a beautiful Sunday, and then so what's it, King's birthday we call it, even though it's not his birthday.
Yeah, it's King's birthday now, not Queen's birthday. So King's birthday tomorrow. So lovely public holiday. As I said, I'll be tucked in watching Melbourne play Collingwood tomorrow afternoon. So that's, if you're a bit sore from today's race, maybe that's where you finish tomorrow.
Definitely. We don't want to see the Pies get up tomorrow, so I wouldn't be watching them. But yeah, D's are all right. Who do you think at the moment, if we're changing the subject here, but AFL wise at the moment, I think Collingwood they're looking bloody tough to beat.
Yeah, I think they've got to be the pick at the moment. Obviously, not many losses this year, and they look like they're playing some pretty good footy. And I'm not overly confident with the D's tomorrow, but we're gonna say they're gonna win anyway.
You can see medals obviously printed off by Think Big, the major sponsor of the half marathon. Great design. Everyone gets a medal. Grab some Hearts water, and you just chuck the clothes on, try and stay warm. Catch up with family and friends, and just a beautiful weekend in Launceston.
Beautiful running weekend. I know that entries were up about 6 or 7% from last year, so. The more the merrier out here, as Richard said earlier. They need more entrants. They need more local entrants, because that's where the event grows, with those local entrants. Not the elite end that doesn't grow the event. It's those people who can turn up and have a go, whether it's the 5, the 10, the half marathon. That's where this event is going to grow from. Yeah, definitely. We want to encourage getting teams in, whether it's workplaces or social basketball teams, football teams. Grab your mates. Jump on board one of these 3 fantastic events that Epic Marketing and Event do across Tasmania, and stay healthy, get active, and enjoy being a better you. I think we're going to take a short break here, and then we'll come back for the 10K a bit later on. Beautiful, mate. Thanks so much, and we look forward to rejoining the live stream at around 10:30 a.m. for the men's and women's Launceston 10.
We're building an incredible team who is serving our community, and vice versa. Our community feel like they can come home to through us. Whether it's aspiring to build something greater, potentially a development, or maybe it's their first home. It's about putting that puzzle together, their wants, their needs, and then our experience, and making it all fit. They've got a family, which wants the best for them. Let us guide you home.
Find your cushy place in the Brooks Ghost 15.
We're building an incredible team who is serving our community, and vice versa. Our community feel like they can come home to through us. Whether it's aspiring to build something greater, potentially a development, or maybe it's their first home. It's about putting that puzzle together, their wants, their needs, and then our experience, and making it all fit. They've got a family, which wants the best for them. Let us guide you home.
Find your cushy place in the Brooks Ghost 15.
We're building an incredible team who is serving our community, and vice versa, our community feel like they can come home to through us. Whether it's aspiring to build something greater, potentially development, or maybe it's their first home. It's about putting that puzzle together, their wants, their needs, and then our experience and making it all fit. They've got a family, which wants the best for them. Let us guide you home.
Find your cushy place in the Brooks Ghost 15.